I've been an entrepreneur for over 12 years now, and I've got a few different things that I highly recommend as either gifts for entrepreneurs or for you to purchase for yourself to make the next year the most productive yet. So I've broken it up into a few different categories. First, we have productivity, mindset, and then e-commerce specifically. So let's just get started. First, with productivity, I highly recommend getting a big wall calendar, especially if it is dry erase. That's even better. Because whenever you're planning out your year in advance, it's so helpful to actually be planning by a quarter or looking a couple months ahead. That way you can figure out exactly when you need to launch different products or backtrack and say, okay, this is when this needs to go into production. There's so many steps that go into running a successful business. And whenever you can kind of look at your year in a couple months at a time, it can make things so much easier. And I love dry erase because, let's be honest, things are always changing, and it's helpful if you can easily make changes as you go along. So in addition to having a wall calendar, I also highly recommend having an actual day-to-day planner. And I have gone through so many planners over the years. I like to plan out my year in 3-month chunks, so by the quarter, and find a planner that kind of works with that as well. My favorite that I've used for all of 2022 and I've already repurchased for 2023 is the IFIC planner. I also purchased the book that goes through all of the methodology for using this planner, and I read that this year, and it's been really helpful in terms of just thinking through my workflow differently. So I guess I kind of recommend the book and the planner here, but the planner is so helpful in actually planning out your full week, as well as reviewing what your annual and quarterly goals are, planning out and breaking it into day-by-day tasks. I am notorious for putting way too much on my to-do list every day, so I actually like that it limits you into just a few key spaces, as well as you have different routines that you can set up so that you can be more structured with things like bookkeeping or administrative tasks. My favorite feature though is the weekly review. Honestly, I was just kind of ending the week and going, okay, that's another one, on to the next week. And having a weekly review to actually step back and say, okay, what are the wins? How am I celebrating them? What am I looking forward to changing next week based on the obstacles that I encountered this week? It's been so helpful, and I highly recommend this planner. My next recommendation is a small little cube timer that you can put on your desk. So I love doing a Pomodoro method. So that means that I'm working in chunks of time. I typically either do a 20 or a 45-minute chunk of time. And then after that time is over, then I am forced to get up and walk around, take a break, stretch. Sometimes, honestly, I'm mainly just doing the laundry or cleaning the kitchen, whatever it is, but it gives you that nice little break before you go back into work. And I'm finding that I'm a lot more productive because of it. I really like this timer because you can choose a couple different time spots that you have and then just flip it and it starts counting it down for you. Whenever the timer is up, it'll flash blue and actually beep if you want it to as well. I typically turn the beeping off because it'll always end up being whenever my child is napping and I don't want to do anything to risk the nap. But I absolutely love using this kind of timer method with Pomodoro blocks because it really does just help me be a little bit more focused. And I'm finding that I'm getting a lot less distracted because if I am going, I don't want to do this anymore, how much do I have to go? I'll look at the timer and be like, okay, 15 minutes, you can do 15 more minutes and then get on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. It's really helpful in keeping me structured and focused so that at the end of the day, I've got a good 5 to 6 different 45-minute blocks where I've gotten really focused and regimented with my time, and it's been a game changer for my productivity. Lastly, in the productivity section, I have a clock in and out timer. Okay, I know this sounds weird because I am self-employed and I work from home, but that's the problem because I work from home and I can always be working. And because I'm a recovering workaholic, I say recovering, but I'm definitely still a process. I always find ways of just sneaking in a little extra work. And then I feel guilty because I'm not being present with my family, or I feel guilty because I'm not working as much. So having an actual clock in, clock out timer in my office is really helpful for me to separate my work and life and have more of that work-life balance. I actually keep a timer for both my work as well as my self-care time, so that way I can make sure that I'm not going all month long without actually taking some time for myself. Typically, I try and end my day around 3, and so it's helpful for me to just clock out and then just have that cue of being like, okay, I'm off work for the day. I'll come back to this tomorrow. It can be really helpful and also just nice to look back and see how many nights did I work this week when maybe I was only wanting to work 2 to 3 nights. Did I work more? Did I work less? How does that all look, and how much time did I actually spend working versus self-care for the week? I highly recommend, if you're working from home, actually doing a clock-in timer. I know it's weird, trust me though, it works. So now let's talk about different gifts around mindset. I'm just gonna go out and say it, but I think entrepreneurship is one of the hardest career paths that you can choose. There's so much inner work that you have to do because you're just more vulnerable, you're more visible, you're putting yourself out there more, and because of that, there's more money stories that come up and mindset struggles that come at any point in your entrepreneurship journey. I really have focused on personal mindset and growth this year, and I've seen a huge change in just how I respond to different obstacles and things that come up every single day. So for mindset here, my first gift is actually my favorite book of 2022. I've actually read this twice this year, but it is We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. I really love her writing style and the way that she talks about both the work aspect and the personal aspect that pulls into business, because it really does tie in together, and it's so important to kind of look at your life as a whole, not just your business over here, your personal life over here, but tying things together. I think it's really helped me think through of a lot of things, and I've done a lot of upgrades and investments in myself, both in my business and in my personal life. Okay, now talking about all the struggles that come along with entrepreneurship. If you do not journal, come on, what are you doing? You've got to journal. This was one of my biggest takeaways for 2022. I wanted to journal every day, and I have, and it has been mind-blowing. It's so crazy how much we just kind of go through the day, and then maybe at the end of the day, if you kind of write down something, you'll kind of focus on the bad parts of the day, or maybe one highlight. But whenever you're actually focused on journaling every single day, and you're going, okay, I'm making this commitment to write down everything about my day that I liked, didn't like, you end up processing so much that I think a lot of times if you're not journaling, you're just keeping inside and it's just building up. I think if I was to recommend anything for 2023 moving forward for you to do as an entrepreneur, it is definitely to journal. So get you a nice motivational journal and make sure that you're setting up that practice. Even if it's just a sentence a day or a paragraph a day, whether you journal at night or in the morning, whatever it is, you gotta start journaling. Last in the mindset category is an app called Growth Day. It is by personal development coach Brendon Burchard, and it is a really awesome app that you can have on your phone or on your computer. It has so many different functionalities like different challenges and journaling, and you can put all of your different plans in there as well. But my favorite part is called the Daily Fire. I listen to it every single morning whenever I'm making coffee and breakfast.
Happy Tuesday, Striver. It's Brendon Burchard, founder of Growth Day, and I hope that you've kicked off this week strong, intentional, motivated.
And it's just a great way to start the day. There's a lot of personal development and mindset. He always kind of gives journal prompts as well, and it can be really helpful to just kind of get that little bit of a pep talk in the morning, but also start being a little bit more reflective about how you're going through your day-to-day life. I don't know how he does it, but it always seems like the message is so timely for me and what I'm going through. And having that outside reflection is so helpful, again, in just getting started with your day and not just going through the motions every single day, but taking a step back and being more reflective about where you are at in your life currently and where you want to go as well. Mindset is key for entrepreneurs, so make sure that you're prioritizing this, or if you're giving a gift to an entrepreneur, I promise you, if they use it, they'll definitely appreciate it. Okay, so now let's talk about e-commerce specifically, because I do e-commerce. I have a couple different things that I recommend for any kind of entrepreneur that is doing e-commerce to just make their life a little bit easier. And the first is a photo box. You can easily add in a light and your camera and take really nice quality photos for your website or social media. There's a lot of different options that have different kind of colored sheets, or you can go in and just have a full white background if you want it as well, but it makes it really nice and easy to take really fast shots for your products that honestly look good even if you're taking it on just a phone. Because you've got the lighting figured out and everything is working there, it makes the photos already a lot more up-leveled just taking them yourself. Also, when it comes to e-commerce, I love using these photo backdrops. I use these all the time anytime I'm taking photos for social media, either for myself or for clients, and they're really easy to get set up, and you have a couple different designs to go from. So you can make these look a little bit more styled, play with other kind of photo props, and just make it look really nice and stylized. Plus, it's super easy to move around the house and to set up and quickly take photos. I purchased these photo backdrops honestly like years and years ago, and it's something that I'm still pulling out every single week and using. Definitely highly recommend those. Lastly is a 360 turntable. I used to be so envious of all of these different beautiful product photography shots of the products just spinning and you could see all the different angles. And I felt like you had to be a professional photographer to do this. However, it is actually quite affordable. You can get a turntable that has a remote or just different settings in, and you can easily do this for your own product photography as well. So you can show every angle. They look great in video ads as well for your business. And it's a nice way of, again, just up-leveling your photography just a little bit more. These are the things that really you just have to purchase one time and you can use for years and years as you're running your product-based business. Plus, they store really easily as well for whenever you're not using them. So these are my favorite 10 products for entrepreneurs or for you to purchase for yourself for the coming year. I would love to hear what you would like to own or purchase for someone else. So make sure to comment below and let me know which product you would be interested in trying out the most. And if you want to learn more about my entrepreneurship journey and what I've learned in the last 12 years of owning my own e-commerce business, then check out this video over here.